Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with a kind of a different video. This is more of what I do on my Gone Rogue Game channel, just talk about products or things that I'm doing around here at the shop. I thought I would actually discuss some of the drama, controversy surrounding the negativity of my videos lately. It's really, to be honest, it's not really a new theme. I've been pretty much down the dumps as far as Magic is concerned for years now. Let me give you a history. If any of you might be new subscribers or new viewers to this channel, I have been around for a long time with Magic the Gathering. I believe I started my channel clear back in like 2014. So we're approaching 5, 6 years since I've been creating Magic the Gathering content. And I've pretty much been stagnant on this channel around that 30,000 subscriber mark for years. Haven't really put a lot of effort. And mainly that has to do, I think in 2018 was the big, when I lost my sponsorship from Cool Stuff Inc., really left a bad taste in my mouth with just the community at large. The entire culture of Magic changed significantly in 2017 and 2018. And I think it changed. Many other people with me think it changed for the worse. And it wasn't the same as what I kind of grew up with being involved in the Magic community, as far as just the energy, just how vibrant the game was. There was, back during like Return to Ravnica, the Magic scene was just very robust, where people, the content creators got together, people got together, and it was just a really, really fun experience during what I consider the glory years of Magic. And it's just gone downhill from then, from design to game products to you name it. It's just left a sour taste in my mouth of not really complete failures, but I think even worse than just an absolute complete failure is just how stagnant like innovation has become. Product design has become. We never really saw MTGO hit its full potential. They never really did anything special that I really consider if you compare it to like other games. And now we saw with Arena, when Arena came out in what, 2018, 2019, with that, okay, here's a new clean slate for them to explore a potential awesome online game with Magic the Gathering, and they really haven't done anything. It's just playing Magic online all over again. All the things that could have been done with online versus paper, they really haven't done much, and paper still is the superior way to play, in my opinion. And then, like I said, it's just once you own a store, and then you have to deal with that side of it, and there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of toxicity in the community, a lot of unfortunately, Magic is very tough to find that sweet spot between competitive and casual. It seems to be on one or the other extreme. And I've always been one of those guys in the middle, just likes to play for fun, but competitively, if that even makes sense, if that's even possible. Maybe it's just a pipe dream of mine. Maybe I'm the one that's being unreasonable and expecting, the world to work my way rather than how in reality it works. But locally it's left a bad taste in my mouth as how cutthroat the groups can become, or how I just haven't really ever fit in with like the casual side of things. So little by little, you could see throughout the history of this YouTube channel just how much I've just continued to got more negative and more kind of salty would be the right word for Magic. So I still do love the game. I still do collect the game, and this is going to be one of those lighthearted videos about something that I do love to and enjoy to collect. Still like the product aspect of it. I still do love Magic. It's still one of the best games. I have an account on Board Game Geek where I review board games, and that's also one of the reasons why you've seen less and less of me in this Magic the Gathering, is I've really fallen in love with board games. But if you go to my Board Game Geek profile, I still rate Magic the Gathering as the best tabletop game ever. It's a 9.4, and then I have like Everdell or Terraforming Mars right below Magic the Gathering at like 9.2 or 9.3. So even though I am very salty and very negative towards Magic, mainly because of the what ifs, like what could have this game become if there wasn't so many things just in the way of Magic just being a great game. And that's my entire my complaints about Magic, or about Wizards, is if we didn't have this lack of innovation, if they would hire people based upon merit and achievement rather than on trying to fill in boxes or just let nepotism run wild, what could this game actually have become? And it just leaves a very, very sour taste in my mouth. But anyway, I still believe that Magic the Gathering is the best game ever created. It's a very awesome gathering of people. That's the best way to play it. It's a great way to cultivate groups. I was involved when I was younger in like the StarCraft community and the Dota 2 community. However, I never really made that full-fledged jump into that community like I did in Magic. So anyway, this video, I want to showcase a card that I actually do collect, a lighthearted card. This is kind of a meme on this channel if you've been following this a long time. This is one of the first cards that I kind of spec'd in all in just because I wanted to buy out a bad card. Now this is Null Chamber. Null Chamber is, in my opinion, not a bad card. This is back, I think, in early 2018 we had the reserve list bubble. Everyone was buying into reserve list cards, and I thought it would be funny to spike a card that had no reason to be spiked. It was just hysteria that was fueling these buyouts in the reserve list for kind of these really low tier cards. And I found one that was under $1 that I considered that had more of an education problem rather than a power level problem. And this was Null Chamber. So what I mean by education is people don't know that this card exists. That's the biggest thing that's holding back Null Chamber, is I think that the ability, I think Nevermore is the card that's a 3 mana, just you just choose one card to stop from being played. Null Chamber is actually 2 cards, and it's very political, which makes it an even more fun card in EDH. Null Chamber says you and target opponent each name any card except for a basic land, and those cards cannot be played. So it's a double Nevermore. So how you play this card in EDH is you make an ally with an opponent and say, hey, I don't like that person's commander, and you don't like that person's commander, or I don't like this card or that card, and let's agree to name these cards and shut these 2 players down. My most hilarious EDH was we had a Krenko player and a Skittles player that were kind of notorious for building some of these really wombo combo, like Skittles just one-shots people, Skithric the Blight Dragon, and Krenko, Mob Boss, just gets out of control quickly if it stays on the field. Back then, black and red were also very terrible at being able to remove enchantments. I mean, black is starting to get more and more that can do so, and red has things like Chaos Warp, but I mean, those are very few and far between within their decks. So casting a Null Chamber versus a black and red player is much more brutal than, say, casting against a white or green player that usually has ways to actually get rid of these as time goes on. And if people build these all-in commander decks that really, really rely on their commanders, like Skithric the Blight Dragon, many times all you do is put in a bunch of pump spells and equipments with Skithric, or with Krenko, the deck is okay, but where the deck really suffers if Krenko can't get online. And so if you have this Null Chamber out versus those particular commanders, then it kind of shuts them down and makes them play more of a fair EDH rather than relying on their commander. So this has led to some hilarious little fits which is my favorite thing to do, is trigger people in Commander, and has led to some funny EDH experiences. So it's become a pet card of mine. A, because this was one of the reserve list cards that I thought would be a funny experiment to try to spike, which we did. We got up to $5 the last time I did this. And B, it is actually a worthwhile card that I think people should know about, and you could easily justify putting this in any white deck, as the 4 mana to shut down 2 commanders is actually quite powerful. And if you actually do compare this with Nevermore, Nevermore is a played card in EDH. It's not a staple, it's not an auto-include, but many decks do run this, and it really surprises me that Null Chamber is not in like Enchantress decks, because that is a deck that it definitely should go into, is things that are getting any sort of value. So I was actually surprised it didn't spike up with some of the cards out of Theros. But anyway, this is my pet card. This is my reserve list card that I thought I'd try to have fun with and kind of own the most shares of this particular card. So here's my collection of Null Chambers, and they're unsleeved Null Chambers. I'm not going to sleeve them either. They're going in this hideous yellow. I got my yellow playmat and my yellow binder to show you my collection of Null Chambers. And the whole point I'm doing this video is I have not reached my goal. I want to fill this entire binder full of Null Chambers, and I think so far I only have 18 times 18. So I have 18 pages full of a little bit over. I think I have 19 and a half pages now full of Null Chambers in this 9-slotted binder. So there's 18 on each page, front and back, and has 9. And various conditions. Most of these are probably lightly played. I have a couple of heavy plays in here because I haven't been willing to spend more than like $1.20. I think that was my price point that I was buying into Null Chambers. The vast majority of these I got in when they were like 35 cents, 40 cents. And we did spike it up because it was kind of a meme earlier on in my Rogue Deck Builder channel. I think it was the Rogue Market channel too that we kind of collaborated to buy some Null Chamber. So yeah, I am not even halfway there. I believe there's 50 pages in this binder, and we're not even at the 25 mark. So unfortunately, Null Chamber has been encroaching because I opened my stupid mouth and told people I was doing this. So of course that they go and buy the cards underneath me so that I can't get in at the price point I want with Null Chamber. But it has been a goal of mine to try to fill this binder full of Null Chambers, because it's again, it's a pet card. It's something that I think brings some form of entertainment. That's why I always argue with people that Magic should remain a collectible card game. That is part of the fun. When I was a kid, it was all about finding those play sets and finding. I used to collect like one of every dragon, regardless of how bad the dragon was. It was always fun just to collect cards. So that's what Magic has over a lot of other like TCGs that aren't collectible and just pure collectibles. It's the perfect mix of both of them, and that's what kind of enchanted me towards Magic to begin with, was the best of both worlds with this. So if you have any Null Chambers and you enjoy this channel and you want to help me actually reach this goal, I got a long ways to go with the Null Chambers, and you'll probably never see these on TCG for under like $1.25, because I'll snap them up if they are in that price range. So again, just kind of a lighthearted thing that I like to collect. There's a few other cards I'll show you sometime of cards that I collect. Well, a couple of them are naughty, which I always wanted to do a video clear back in the day, but I was so worried about losing my sponsorships. And now that I'm unsponsored, I guess I have nothing to lose. I collected Triumph of Ferocities. I think my goal was to own over 9,000 Triumph of Ferocities, and I think I have a couple thousand of them. It's a pretty garbage card. It's just the artwork of Garrick that is beaten up on Liliana that caused the first like controversy in the Magic the Gathering community about how it was, misogynistic, and oh my gosh, the stretch, the reach, the grasping at straws that people made with that artwork was just absolutely ludicrous. And it was weird because it was the first warning signs of the hysteria that was to follow, of how people were going to make mountains out of molehills, and it keeps getting worse and worse. And as we come closer to election time, it's even getting crazier with the things that people are willing to throw fits about. And I think that Triumph of Ferocity was the first one that we can look back on, was the first major card to cause just complete outrage over a nothing burger. So that one I collect, and there's another particular island that I'll have to show you sometime that I collect. So anyway, I'd like to see your collections. If you collect a specific card and have like a story behind why you collect it, definitely comment in the comment section below. I get a lot out of this particular thing in Magic. I think that it's a huge aspect of it. That's why I've never really liked, or at least gone full-fledged into just the whole TCG aspect of it. In my opinion, there are better games to play. Like, not better like tabletop games, but online you're not playing tabletop. You're playing a game online. It's the same thing that like Terraforming Mars and Everdell and Scythe, they all have apps. I haven't purchased one of them. Why the hell would I want to play a board game on an app? A board game cannot be superior to just a game. Any just electronic game is going to be better than like a board game that's turned into an app. So I don't see the purpose of doing so. And that's kind of how I feel about MTG and Arena. MTG and Arena were always just more they were just easier access for me to test cards and play against better competition, so I could hone my skills for like the local, for the tabletop. And yeah, that's what I really get out of Magic, is the collecting, is the gathering, is all that above. So again, I will try to tone down the negativity. I'm one of those people that actually gets energized by just emotion. So negativity doesn't affect me like it could affect some people. I don't find it so threatening like other people do. So if I don't like a product, if I have an opinion on something, it's just an opinion. So I'll continue to do that, continue to, be me. This is my channel. I don't have a brand to represent, which is awesome. Like, I think the best thing that ever happened for me and my channel was to lose those sponsorships, because then I never had to worry about saying the wrong words, or it was just ridiculous. Some of the conversations, some of the reasoning, and that I had with sponsors were just absolutely ludicrous. But anyway, we'll talk about that some other day as time goes on. But I'll try. The main reason too you haven't seen brews on this channel is my computer did implode. I cannot run games on it right now. Something's wrong with it. We've tried to diagnose it, but it eventually freezes up if I play anything like Dota, or if I try to render videos. And then I refuse to install arena on my work computer. So there's that. So I'm going to get another computer that's going to be dedicated towards that. And who knows, maybe I'll find my love again for Magic. I go through these shifts and stuff. So I know there's a whole thread about how it was sad to see someone that had so much energy and love for trying to build, wacky brews and whatnot, and just kind of completely quit. And that, I guess, is the best way to kind of describe what's gone on. I've just become saltier and saltier and saltier to the point that the salt intake was too much that I had to just step away. So there's my collection. Help me fulfill this. Send me Null Chambers. Anyway, this has been Kevin with Rogue Deck Pro. Thanks for watching.